to pray. There's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Kiru's show here. Now, I do know that it's about to be midnight, but I at least wanted to get one video out on this series. Now, one thing I do want to say is, as you all know, whenever I did start this series, people were saying that this deserves its own series, which I was already doing. Now, for some reason, I thought people were talking about the Sebastian and Inko traveling around the world basically taking down this cult. But eventually it going underground. Now, I actually did think about that, so I was going to do a little something with this story, since it's basically an in-between episode, between the final battle. So, I was thinking about doing a Sebastian and Inko adventuring around the world, and basically trying to take out this entire cult. Along with the fact that it would add more backstory to Inko and a lot more story to Sebastian, along with why Deku essentially knows a lot more languages than he possibly should at his age. Now, along with that, this is going to be somewhat story-driven and somewhat just filler. I do know people like filler on I do know that I actually do filler on my channel, and people actually do like it, because it adds more story and depth to the worlds. Now, let us begin. Oh my god, I thought I went over 3 minutes with that. I was going to cut that all. Okay. Now then. When we last left off, I believe Bakugo and Tokoyami were actually taken by the League of Villains. Now, Deku got all rinsed off, and Telly got her eye back. Or, she basically got it all back. Now, after that happened, Deku would walk over to Telly, and he just asked her if, since they are basically going to be taking time off of school, from what Aizawa basically said earlier, that this would give them a chance to actually go out for a date, or at least spend some more time together and actually talk. People are watching this, and Deku would just ask Aizawa if he has permission to leave. People are confused as to how exactly he would leave, and Deku would immediately I just realized that does not have its wings. Okay. Well, basically Deku... Oh, there it is. Deku would create a pair of black wings, and this actually shocks everyone. They're confused as people actually would start asking questions, but Deku would just say, shapeshifting. One ability I don't really use very well, because using it in battle, that is very tricky, if not very dirty and very annoying, as it would ruin my outfit. People basically realize that the fact that Deku has all these abilities he doesn't use, and if he were to actually properly train them and use them, he would be OP. Now, the reason he doesn't use them is because I've only seen Sebastian use shapeshifting and any other ability like that in the series very minorly. When he does, he usually transforms into cats or ravens to get around. Now then, Deku, he immediately just grabs Intelli and he immediately just takes off flying. As Intelli is confused and trying to figure out exactly what just happened, Deku, he would immediately just land them back at the manor. She's confused at exactly what just happened, and he would just say Mach 3. Which she's trying to figure out exactly what he means, as she puts it together that in less than 3 seconds, not only did he manage to take off, land, and get here, he did it all going over Mach 3. Essentially fast enough to break the sound barrier. Now, Sebastian, he would walk outside and he would actually look at Intelli as he looked somewhat puzzled and troubled at the same time. What exactly did your two's deal portray? Well, I do remember that I did ask her for company, Father. Very well then. Did you say that you hold no? Yes, I did. You told me if I were to ever break the contract to use those exact words, so I did. Good. Why? Why those exact words? Because, Miss Intelli, it's a bit. How do I put it? It's. Those words are themselves a loophole in our language. Language? Yes. If we use those words in English, they do not translate very well. Basically, they mean we hold nothing. What do you mean? We hold nothing against you. Basically, making the deal void, null, and non existent when you break it. Okay. You did good. As Sebastian, he would actually extend his hands to bring Deku into a hug. Deku's confused by this, but he would just hug his dad, saying that this is very confusing. Sebastian would say that it is, but don't worry. I did, however, feel one thing. You transformed again, didn't you? Yes. How was that? You killed that man, right? Yes, but he deserved it. As he stops squeezing Deku, he just lets him go, saying if the man did deserve it, at least do not eat his soul. You've done well enough on that. I did not eat his soul. I let it wander. I let it go. Good. Now then. Miss Intelli, I do believe we should get you to some proper sleep. Along with change you into attire, I will start preparing a meal at once. As Intelli would just say no, they basically have a problem on their hands. They need to go save Bakugo and actually get him back from the League of Villains, along with Tokuyami. Yes, Bakugo is an asshole, but he should not be kidnapped. Well, at least this shows your passion. Alright then, I shall put on a pot of tea and coffee at once. Thank you, Sebastian. Miss Intelli, I did have one question actually. Yeah? Usually I see you eating chocolate to stay awake. What does coffee do with your quirk? I don't know. It's very weird. Anytime I try it, I just get a little ditzy. Ditzy? Well, I do get smarter, but I feel a bit. Things don't feel right. Okay. I'll keep this in mind. As Sebastian would just immediately put hot chocolate mix into the boiling water. Now, he would also create the tea, and these two would get to work on creating more gadgets and more equipment. As Sebastian and Inko would basically join them all night, thinking up things and actually creating prototypes. Now, they'd be doing this for, I want to say they would lock themselves in the mansion basically for nearly 3 or 4 days. Now, I want to say as they would lock themselves in the mansion for 3 days or 4 days, because I do believe the attack basically takes place in between that time frame from the Black Force shooting arc. I do want to say that they would start creating more gadgets, along with the fact that a bow staff with very, very many utilities. Now, when I say utilities, I want to say that not Ibarra. I don't know why I keep thinking Ibarra's name whenever I try and say Intelli. I have to constantly think about that. I feel like because there are two names are the only ones I can think of that start with an I in the series. Okay. Back to it. They would start creating a staff, and this staff is actually very unique, as it would hold some of her gadgets. It has the ability to spray gas in the opponent's face, knocking them out, along with the fact that they also did create essentially, it's kind of a toxin that can make your entire opponent's nervous system freeze. It's like there's a name for it. Paralysis. There we go. Basically, it can cause paralysis, and in fact, it can actually slow down the heart rate to the point where you believe that your victim is dead. There's actually a spider that can do that. It is scary as shit. Ugh. Sorry. If you guys don't know, this spider can get up to about the size of, I believe, a tarantula hawk. Or not tarantula hawk, but whatever. It can get to very big ass size. Not the size of a tarantula hawk. I think that's the name of the spider. I might be wrong. I'm probably thinking of a huntsman spider. Anyways, I am very, very in need of sleep. Now, as she's creating these gadgets, she would also find that Inko has basically told her that she may also need to do one thing with that, as she quite simply just holds up a gun magazine, saying these aren't like the real thing, but they are the closest that she can find. As she basically would hold up a bullet, saying that she's been somewhat working on these. So I hope your aim is good. Ibarra is confused as Inko would basically hold up part of the staff, saying that essentially by folding it in half and bringing it up like an actual gun, you can actually shoot it like a firearm, if not shoot it like a long rifle. Basically, she would hold it out as she would shoot the bullet would immediately go flying into the wall and actually reveal that it is that sticky paste. But it's more compact and it actually had a bigger splash. Now, she would go on saying that after she talked with that company, they basically had more ideas and felt like it was their job to create and improve upon anything she's ever made. As she holds up concentrated bullets. Now, she would hold up about. She would hold up like a cryo bullet. This thing basically is so cold and made with people's quirks that it can freeze all the oxygen in front of it, or that it's fired through. Along with the same for a fire grenade. It's basically compacted gas. Gas compacted to the point where it's so flammable that it can basically light up an entire city room, or an entire room, just by a little bit squeezing out. They also did create oil slick, but that one is quite literally just self-explanatory. It's a ball. It looks like a steel ball, but as soon as you fire it out, as soon as it comes out of the barrel, it starts liquefying and actually sticking to, if not hitting your opponent and actually just slicking them everywhere. They're basically covered in oil and have very, very big difficulties moving. Now, along with that, you also do have a standardized explosive ball. This one is like the fire bullets and the ice bullet, but it's also its own little thing. Basically, it can explode upon contact, along with the fact that you also do have the sticky bomb foam bullet. Same as the sticky bullet, you just don't want to get those two mixed up. Now, they should basically reveal more of these versatilities and utilities, as they should basically show that you can actually pull out a stock and it will deploy when you do this. Along with the fact that it's got tasers and all these other utilities. You can even pull a small knife out of it if you need to. Along with a handcuff key. That would be very handy. Now, as she's basically going over all this, they would improve upon it and basically get it to be very, very good. Along with the fact that you can actually extend it somewhat and pull it apart to use it as batons. Along with the fact that they would also make holsters for them and actually get get these done. Now, afterwards, Deku and Intelli, they would actually spend a proper day chilling out and actually relaxing. Intelli is not in too big of a hurry to get Bakugo back, but she knows it'll take time for the heroes to actually locate them. Now, after that, I want to say they would basically be hanging out and actually chilling as Deku is in regular clothes for once. Basically, she's actually telling Deku that it's kind of nice to just hang out for a minute, as they're both eating lunch, and Deku would just say that if it's true, then if we're properly a couple, then why don't we just hang out on the couch and just watch TV for a while? As these two are doing so, they would eventually find that they can watch horror movies and like silly comedy romance well, not novels, but silly comedy romance stuff. As they basically do this, Inko and Sebastian would take a day off and leave the manor, as they would basically go out for their own thing. Knowing Inko, hunting down some what are they? I don't remember how you. There's a word for them too. Jesus, I am forgetting all the words. People spreading propaganda about the church. There we go. They're advertising in a different way, but they just flipped around the symbol quite a bit. Now, let's say Sebastian was actually the one to notice it, as he would go on stating that that is the church's symbol, correct? And Ko would look and she would immediately just realize exactly what he's pointing at. She's thinking that this place is quite too close to their son's school, as it's only 10 blocks. Yeah, that's pretty close. Basically, people are handing out flyers and talking about it, as they would be asking if they would like to essentially meet with the church. Inko would just look at them and say, no, she's fine, but she will take a flyer in case she wants to. She would then go on asking quite a bit of things about the meeting spots and different things about where they gather for the days, along with actually being, well, sounding and acting very interested actually after denying the first encounter. They would be somewhat ecstatic as they're talking and saying all this stuff to Inko, and eventually Sebastian would pull her aside saying that, honey, we do need to go shopping, correct? As she would just say yes, and they would begin walking away as Inko would just basically wave goodbye. As she does so, she would turn her head with a smile, looking at Sebastian with a determined look and actually a bit of a sour look, saying she hates doing that for those people. Ugh. Rip my soul out of me now. Oh, are you sure? That's literally. We still do have a deal, don't we? The deal has changed, but I guess as your husband, I shouldn't let you go at this alone. Alright, honey. I'm not saying that again. That felt so weird. Now then, that is where I'm going to be leaving things off, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and have an amazing night. I will try to record the next part early tomorrow. I actually do have to go somewhere and pick up my car. But just know that I at least wanted to get one video out for you guys, and I don't want to leave you guys hanging with the series. Along with the fact that I actually did make a little bit of improvements to Intelli's gear. And I will be going over some more of them later on in the series, but explaining it would basically take me quite a bit of time, as I actually do have a lot of ideas for her gear upgrades. Now, goodbye guys.